We will see as many as 8 NFL first-round draft picks on the field tonight. So if you guys wanted a good football game, you're going to get it. But there's also a lot of focus on these two young quarterbacks. Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, he is trying to become the first true starting freshman quarterback to win a title since 1985. We do know that Tua Tagovailoa won one as an Alabama freshman last year, but he came in as a backup. Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley also said that Alabama is, quote, impressive to watch. And no matter who their coordinators are, they have a system in place, and truly it works. It is proven. And Nick Saban tomorrow hoping to get the win because that would propel them to the national championship game. You're an offensive guy. You've been an MVP before. Who do you think is going to be the MVP if Alabama wins tonight?
I think Josh Jacobs. I think he's one of those guys. He does a lot for us.
Well, so much of our attention on Alabama has been directed to their offense. How could you not talk about it? Video game numbers and more ways of creatively using their monster pieces on offense. It's a pretty easy conversation. Henry Ruggs said that you can't cover him in practice.
I cut him off every day. It's not even, the only time he beats me is when he sneaks up on me.
Okay.
And if you get him to tell the truth, he'll tell you that.
He said he talks a lot of trash too, but you do too.
That's true.
There was also a report this week that Tua would have over 400 friends and family go to the national championship game today. He did tell us that that would be pretty much impossible, but he does expect a lot of them to attend the game here in California. Coach, after that initial touchdown, things didn't really go your way. Then you get the pick at the end. What do you want to see change in the second half?
No, we just got to do a really good job of just taking care of the football.
Clearly an atmosphere that the Auburn Tigers won't forget, an electrifying game and an upset of the 20th ranked team in the country. This game also puts the Tigers' momentum swing in full force heading into the game at Georgia next weekend. So sometimes wins aren't necessarily the prettiest in college football, as we know. Today it was all about survive and advance for the Trojans on senior day against Texas State. Tua himself did say he's at about 80 to 85%, but he does expect to be at that 100% margin by the time this game kicks off on Saturday. Of course, we know he had surgery earlier this month in order to be able to play in the playoffs. So not only is he going through practice this week in South Florida, he's also continuing his rehab process. This game is very interesting to you personally because when you played in this game, no scholarship offers. After this, they rolled in.
They did, and Alabama was the team I went with, and the rest is history.
A 24-0 win over Mississippi State wasn't a flashy offensive performance and clearly owes the defense a thank you or two. Alabama and Clemson meeting up for the 4th straight year in the postseason feels like the same song and dance. But there is one thing very different about this Tigers team. Their 19-year-old starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Oklahoma was able to put up 308 total yards of offense through the air on Alabama's defense. A lot of the players said that Oklahoma's offense was the best they'll see all year. So how did the Sooners prepare the Tide for the national championship game? Wearing number 2, QB2, coming off the bench and being a hero in the game that matters most. One of the most electrifying finishes we've seen all season, and Jalen Hurts contributed a lot of that. For you, you have a lot of seniors, a lot of guys that have been with you for the last 7 years. What is it about this class that has made a difference?
Well, it just goes back to when we started, what the programs means to them.
As you talk about a loaded roster, there are over 30 guys on both of these rosters headed to not only SEC schools, but Power 5 schools and other top programs around the country. I did get an opportunity to talk to both head coaches before the game. Mississippi head coach Henry Johnson told me that what's really impressed him, his defensive line. Those guys are monsters up front. Iron Bowl bragging rights belonging to the Crimson Tide this calendar year. So what is next for the Auburn Tigers? Well, Auburn emptied the bucket on the reigning national champs and fell to their rival to finish 7-4 in the regular season. Now Auburn will anxiously await selection Sunday. This is their 4th straight trip to the national championship game. I will say all of them really said it is business as usual, but true freshman Jalen Waddle was very excited when I talked to him at Media Day. He tried to contain it a little bit, but it's okay to show that you're excited because this is the national championship game. Not quite the confetti Alabama would have liked to see fall from Levi's Stadium on Monday night in the national championship game. Alabama losing in heartbreaking fashion to Clemson for the largest margin of defeat in the Nick Saban era at Alabama. Lincoln Riley, he's a young coach and a rising one. He's going to be facing one of the best college football coaches of all time tomorrow night. Since Coach Saban got to the capstone, he's won 138 games and 5 national championships. Who is Nick Saban and Lincoln Riley talking about? Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray. The dude is electric. He threw for over 4,000 yards in this season alone. Not not to mention he was the 9th overall pick in this year's MLB draft. So what is it going to take to contain Oklahoma's most dynamic player?
From the second half on, because Bama was shut out the entire second half of that game.
Yeah, and the penalties really plagued Alabama the whole game. I mean, the guys, when they were coming out of the locker room just now, we were standing outside of it, they were visibly upset. They were in tears. 5-0 Alabama was in this stadium. You've now won the last 2. How big was this win for the state of Mississippi?
Very big, very, very big. I mean, just tremendous, man.
But his parents are from Mali in West Africa. His grandparents have had about 15 children each, and he told me that just about 3 of them are here in the United States. Bambara is the official language in Mali, and Mahmoud speaks it fairly well. He said he understands it better than he speaks it, but he likes to practice with his parents. It lives on. Keep sending in those pictures, you guys, and we will see you next week for more postseason action. Good night.